Hello and welcome back to Spiritual Soul Centre. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching us on YouTube, then welcome back. But if you're watching us on our new streaming service on our podcast, then welcome to our podcast show. We are so grateful that you have joined us here. And it's just really beautiful to have a community of people that are understanding each other and supporting each other and are able to navigate through this journey together, because let's face it, it's not the easiest journey sometimes. And I think it's really important that we have each other as we're riding this wave. So as many of you guys know that watch the YouTube channel already, we have recently been in Spain facilitating our first retreat. So that was being absolutely wonderful. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then I have been integrating myself personally from coming back from Spain. I am in the last trimester of pregnancy now. So I am in that preparation mode, getting myself ready and prepared for the transitions that are going to take place. But first of all, I just wanted to skip back to the retreat a little bit, because when I'm integrating, I do struggle to be on the social platforms. So if you ever do see a week or two where I'm a little bit quiet, it is probably because I am integrating and expanding, and that's what's been happening recently over the past couple of weeks. And the build up to the retreat in itself was incredibly challenging, but also incredibly powerful to watch how the universe works in live action. So I'm always someone that says to put your faith in the universe and trust and go with it, but also as someone that's a recovering control freak, it is something I also struggle with myself. So it's an issue and a lesson I've been learning and continue to learn throughout my own journey. And in the build up towards the retreat, there was a lot of things that changed last minute and a lot of human scheduling things that had to be altered towards the last minute of the retreat taking place. Now, obviously, as a human, this does cause that little bit of stress and pressure and tension. But for me, it was really important just to keep remembering to drop back into the heart. Oops, sorry about that. I had a notification on the laptop coming. Yeah, it was really important to drop back into the heart, and really important to remember what I'm doing this for and why I'm even connected in what the vision was in the first place towards all this, and really get out of the human. So that's what I did. And it was able to facilitate absolutely fantastically. We covered so many different workshops, and the people there, including all of the staff that were facilitating, really experienced huge transformations, including myself. So I'm just, first of all, very grateful for everyone that came and participated as a guest, as a staff member, and for everyone that helped make it possible, because it truly was a life-changing experience and just an unbelievable, transformational, powerful time. So I truly am very grateful for the way that experience went down. So some of the workshops that we did cover, just to let you know on, was rewiring from trauma, so reprogramming the nervous system, with the whole focus of the retreat was mind, body and soul. So throughout the retreat, we was able to shift the focus through each workshops to navigate between the intentional focus between mind, body and soul. So in the first few days, it was all about the subconscious and conscious patterns and programs and cycles that we had participating within our lives, recognizing them, bringing awareness to them, and understanding how we deprogram them from our conscious and subconscious mind. Also looking at the nervous system and looking at how, when we experience trauma in the past, the nervous system holds cellular memory of trauma. And it's really important to recognize and understand how to shed and release that trauma from the physical vessel itself. We also did a lot of work on activations. We did some soul contracts removals. We did some cord cutting. We did a lot of work in the Akashic realm. We did work on the third eye. We did a lot on the physical body of activations, on Kundalini and stepping into your wild woman and experiencing your true sacred and sensual power. We did a lot of work on that. We had a big build up towards the etheric transformation. For those that have not already done that, we did that as well. And those that had already done that had a reconnection to that. The etheric transformation is the transformation to true self, which is the process of gaining your etheric wings and expanding them and learning how to use them and what they are for as an earth angel. So that was a truly powerful experience and a powerful day as well, powerful workshop. So I really, really enjoyed doing that one. That one's one of my favorites to do. And I always enjoy the energy work that comes with that as well. We did some work on the inner child and on the inner teen throughout. We had another wonderful lady, Juju, facilitating with us, with me and Trish and Luna. And we had some very powerful ladies there all taking place together. We also worked with some plant medicine, and we had connections with ceremonial energies, and that allowed people to connect with their third eye vision and their higher selves in more detail. So that was really beautiful. We did a lot of healing of the land and clearing of the land. We had a beautiful lady, Rachel, who was there, who was doing a lot of her own independent clearing work on the land as well, which I really, really thought was beautiful. As we took a lot of people through the guided session in regards to energy clearing, in regards to doing cleansing of the land and grid work. So we did a lot of guided sessions with that beforehand as well, so people were able to do that. In all, we had a really powerful, expansive time. We were able to call in some ships on the evenings. We had some beautiful laughter, some times of celebrations. There were also triggers. There were also a lot of triggers with it, people. You know, we had the whole human experience of being in a confined environment with people in, you know, quite a confined space and time. And we were able to experience each other's energies and recognize why we were being triggered and what that meant for us, and in what aspects their triggers were initiating healing that needed to be done within us. So that was really, really, really interesting, really powerful, and just a truly magnificent, expansive time. And I'm, again, just so grateful from all of my heart for everyone that was involved. I can't wait to get channeling it into what the next one will be. I am feeling drawn to do a lot of day or weekend events in the UK early next year. So that will be something to look out for if you are interested in the events that we are running. So that definitely is something that's on the cards. And then possibly running a more wild, out in nature, kind of self-sustaining and independent retreat kind of vibe towards the end of next year. But all details are still yet to be confirmed on all that. So I'll keep you guys updated. But there will be some really, really, really powerful, deep transformational, activational workshops coming up online as well. So don't worry about that, guys. And also there's a lot of the courses and everything I have on Honey's site and on the website, and the ebook and the workbooks that are coming out. There's a lot of things available. So just let me know if you need support with anything. So that was the retreat. The integration afterwards is always quite, I definitely wouldn't use the word challenging, but it's quite intense for me. So I have to go through the whole roller coaster of expansion. And I stayed a little while in Spain to integrate more so. And that was a beautiful thing. And also, again, more challenging in some ways with other energies and different environments and different challenges from the human world. So I really had a chance to reflect on everything, on any insecurities I was carrying, any self-doubt and criticisms that were not beneficial or relevant. And I was really able to separate where the truth resonated with me in terms of my reflections of who I am and where I want to move forward. Because every time I do something quite expansive, it's always to get to the next place. And sometimes it's really important for me to drop into the moment and to be really present and to just have gratitude for the experiences and the expansions that have just taken place. So I did a lot of that in the time afterwards. And then coming back into the UK towards the end of June, early July, end of July, early August, it felt really heavy for me and really hard to integrate back into my human life over here, almost like I had to shrink to fit back into it. And there was a lot of heaviness in terms of the energies that are going on, and the collective energy that's going on. And I really felt like then what happened was it was like a cloud that was sat over consciousness of people, literally just above the mind. And it was like a heavy black grey cloud that just sat there. And what this was allowing in was a remembrance, a cellular remembrance in that person. If they have experienced that deep depression, sadness, loneliness, exhaustion, emotional turmoil, if they have experienced that at any point in their past and not necessarily removed it from the cellular memory. So in the same way we all have PTSD, we can all have PTSD, for example, from a specific event or traumatic circumstance. So that means that the body remembers, separate to the mind and the soul. The body remembers. So when we experience this feeling of this cloud in the mind, the body remembers that feeling, and it has a choice in that moment subconsciously whether to coincide with that pattern and to connect with it as it did previously, because it still has parts of it in its cells that resonate and connect, or whether to rise above and know that that is not the frequency that matches this physical vessel anymore. And that allows us to release that trauma that's stored in the cellular memory. So when this cloud came about for me, I didn't know obviously any of this till I've channeled in afterwards in reflection. But it felt so familiar, but yet so hard to get out of. And like I'd already engaged in a cycle before even knowing willingly that I was already in this cycle of feeling sad and lonely and limiting thoughts and not knowing how to break out of it, and not a lot of energy and lethargic and really over emotional and sensitive and, you know, heightened emotions. So, and obviously there is in my factor pregnancy as well. However, I do personally believe that when working with the other people I've seen and on my group, there is a collective energy going on right now that is experiencing this too. So maybe I'm just getting double whammy. And when I've sat through it for a few days, maybe a week or so, on and off with intensity, but some days more intense than others. And it's really been difficult for me because I never thought I'd go back to that place energetically or emotionally within myself that harbours that energy and that feels that way. So I felt really challenged and exhausted with this emotion and really disappointed in self that I was back there. So I really had to reflect on why. And then when I was working with Trish, my partner, my business partner, we was doing some energy work. And yes, we was doing some energy work, and we was connecting in with why this is coming back up for people that have done and doing shadow work continuously, why there's still such an intensity. And it is to remove that memory in the body, the trauma, the PTSD in the physical vessel that is carrying them emotions, so that when it's brought up into the mind, the body recognizes it, but does not choose to engage in that cycle as it does before out of muscle memory, because it's released that trauma and it no longer recognizes that as its current vibrational frequency. So I think that's a really key piece of information if you are struggling with this energy at this moment in time. A couple of things you can do is visually do an energetic cleanse and pour in colours into the top of your mind, all the way down your chakra system, and make sure you're releasing it out of a tap or a funnel at the bottom of your coccyx bone, at the bottom of your spine, and make sure you're filling up any cracks and gaps, and then letting any energy release out of that tap, out of that funnel system, so that you're not holding on to any trauma, any memory trauma, as it wraps around each and every cell, and it connects to each and every cell in your body, and that just connects down to the base of your spine and out. And we can do this at a very slow pace so that it's comfortable for the human, and it can just drip out over the day, so it doesn't need to be intensified and heightened physically. So as we do that as well, we can also seal any cracks and gaps with gold, and make sure we are placing gold, like little crystals or magnets, connecting into the system to help the system funnel out in a quicker way with more ease and assistance and support and protection. So I think that's really important energetically, just to clear that, and do that in any way you want. You don't have to do that in that way. It's just a guidance on how to do that. I would also recommend shining really light and brightly to break through out of the cloud, to raise your frequency higher and above the energetic low vibration that is being put upon our consciousness. But I just wanted to share with you guys that it's not, I experience it too. You know, some of us experience it too, still, as energy workers that are doing the work and understand things on a higher level of consciousness. We still experience the same things. We're still human. And it is really important to recognize that there will never necessarily be a place of healed. It will just be a continuous journey of healing and recognizing how to deal with it in more appropriate and healthy and connective ways that make it easier for us to deal with. So yeah, that is my personal opinion on the energy that's going on in August, because I feel like August has been quite intense already. Lastly, the last thing I want to talk about today is suppression. So I feel with the cloud that we've felt energetically, there is also a heightened sense of suppression, a heightened sense of like last attempts to cling on to any way, to cling on to any way in terms of being in control or having manipulation, having that sense of overwhelming power. So whether it's coming through religion, indoctrination in the media, through the genders, through, you know, any minority groups that they're targeting to create anger and rage and divide, and to create basically food. That's what they're creating, these energetic loosh for lower vibrational entities to feed off. And they really are clawing at everything and anything they can do right now. But it's very important for us to be vigilant and for us to be aware of what we are hearing, what we are exposing ourselves to, what spells are being cast in our presence, and whether we consent to them being put upon us. Pardon me. So especially in religion, you know, making sure that the words that are being said, listening to the truth and listening to how it makes you feel vibrationally, how that's received into your system, because that's going to be a great indicator at what them words are, what the intention of them words are being delivered with, and what frequency they're being emitted at. And that goes for anything and everything. But just be really, really, really aware on how things are being received. I heard things the other day and all I was hearing was fear, control and suppression. And the words, what he was saying was not necessarily that, but that's exactly what was coming out of the frequency. And the words that he was saying, that was the energy attached to that. So yeah, it was really interesting. And Trish also experienced that herself. So just be really aware of what words and what energies and what environments, atmospheres are being put upon you. Making sure you're spiritually protecting yourself. So shielding yourself with armor, getting your etheric wings out, creating a ring of fire, a bubble, a cloak, anything that works for you in terms of spiritual protection or multiple, and making sure that you're setting any form of protection with the intention of the highest frequency of love and light Christ consciousness, but also of source oneness, whatever words resonate with you, but bringing in the highest of the heart frequency so that you can feel protected to the divine alignment. But yeah, so I think really it's just important to be aware right now, and also be in tune with what you're feeling, if that's yours or not, and learning how to shift that off and discern and differentiate between your own energy and others. And really just being aware of how powerful you are as a being. And this time is all about remembrance of self for all of us. So we are just remembering who we are, what we're capable of, and how we deal with these situations. So we don't get that memory and that remembrance unless we are tested. So this is all part of the experience. Know that you're not alone as you're going through this. You're not alone. And we have multiple different things that you can reach out through. We have Telegram groups where we have different conversations in there, update groups and chats. There's also the Tuesday night development group, which I have the WhatsApp Telegram group on there, and the links are on the website. There's the ebook, the affirmation cards, the YouTube channel, the podcast, and everything else. So please feel free just to get in touch and reach out, and just make sure you're not experiencing this journey on your own, and you're not trying to deal with everything all at once and take on the world and save the world on your own, because that's why we're here together. So just look after yourself, take care of yourself, protect yourself, and enjoy the journey. Stop focusing so much on getting all the work done all the time, and just be a part of living and experiencing, and just flow with ease and enjoy being human. Okay, guys, take care. Until next time, look after yourself. Bye-bye.